Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And to begin the day, it's always, we always feel good to have the blessing of our Creator, our ancestors. So I will first pray in my own dialect, that is semi-dialect, and then after I finish my prayer, I will translate that in English so that all of you knows what I have prayed. Can we all unite ourselves in our spiritual prayer? Oh, Apu, nilo sutsikyo, ningono akam sulakishino olau irani. Ningono o kichekipia ana saptukyo joani. Al hoksa pelana ningo shipsape kevilo. Oh, ayerla ambeusha kyo. Aza, ningono, ak, ketine, tutu, eno, amle, pelana, aka kumto pes, ningo tipienge ovila kwani. Aka kumto pes, ningo pelana re, vetakulu, alok tipiril pelo, kucho itil pelo. Aka ningo tike, apwal ho, oshikimti. No. Nhưng cơn sığını tuca pe khatı ana shikapsa cơn tsilauno nhưng shot lo azala hipo nhưng rengno kumrakyo tokulu tsala shul pelo apo alho shikimthi alho she. I have prayed in this manner. O Father of our ancestors, we come to you in one accord. We seek your direction and guidance. Let no evil harm us. O Mother Earth, we pray the sun, moon, rain, and breeze to bring energy, restoration, and strength. Give us the understanding, power, and wisdom to know the truth. Thank you for our life, and we seek your protection from spirits and all harmful elements. Make this day a blessing for all of us. Al-Hoshe, that's the prayer that I have prayed for all of us this morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kisheli, for that wonderful spiritual opening for all of us. And indeed, may we be guided, no, with enlightenment, with open mind, and always remember that everything we do is in service for the well-being of the indigenous peoples and their environment. So good morning once again. Let me reintroduce myself. I am Luchi Maranan. I'm based in the Philippines and I'm the program officer for Asia. We are so fortunate that this morning, despite her very busy schedule, we were able to get the attention and the commitment of one of our guiding committee members to welcome us all. And she's here with us now. May I call on our guiding committee for Asia, guiding committee member for Asia, Ms. Ruka Sombolingi from Amman, and she will welcome us all. Please, Ruka.
Thank you, Lucy, and everybody. I can see, I think I know most of the face here, yeah? Thank you so much again, sisters and brother. Oh, Yuri, I haven't seen you for ages. Sorry. I'm sorry. Correct me if I started to freak out seeing faces that I haven't. Oh, Matura, Emma. Wow, everybody say hi. Carla. Yeah, again, thank you for coming, and thank you for Pawanka Fund friends who is organizing this event. Although this is just through online, through Zoom like this, but let's consider this as a way where we can actually communicate often. Before, we can only communicate when we meet, but today with technology, we can communicate as much as we want. That's, I think, one of the usefulness of technology for all of us. And I would like to, on behalf of Pawanka Fund, I would like to welcome everyone, each of one of you, our dear sisters and brothers, especially to our sisters and brothers, indigenous leaders from Asia. We talk about language, revitalization. Language is not just words. Words is not just letters. Language, words is manifestations or expressions of our wholeness, our holistic life as indigenous peoples. It is our cultural elements. It is our spirituality. It is about our economic system. It is about our social solidarity. It is about our relationship with our land, with our resources, with every beings within our land, with the universe, with our ancestors, and with creators. Language is the easiest tools to audit indigenous peoples, to measure us indigenous peoples' integrity, our cultural integrity, our social, political, economic, spiritual integrity can be measured by our language. Our language, the words is not just words. If we're still practicing our traditional knowledge, practices, and educations, and innovations, our words, the language will remain just fine. If we still do our rituals, just like our sister Kesali did to us just now, our language will never vanish. If we still in solidarity, doing things in collective ways, our language will not vanish. If we still practicing our indigenous political governance, decision-making processes, our language will never be gone. If we still practicing our traditional livelihood, if we keep planting our indigenous seeds and plants and trees, our language will never be gone. My name is Ruka Sombolingi. Ruka and Sombolingi has meanings. And that's from our language, Esetoraja language. Since my ancestral times until today, we're still using our indigenous names. Once I said, oh, I think Florence sounds nicer than Ruka. And I remember Vicky was like, what are you talking about? You are lucky because you still use your indigenous indigenous names. And I start to appreciate my name. And And I start to remember how precious our indigenous language is and how important it is to remain as indigenous peoples. And in return, we will definitely keeping our language. As a Toraja, our language is also changed over time because our relationship to our territories and to our resources, to our food system is changing. For example, in Toraja, one simple word is about to lose, it's about to miss, it's about to be gone. And that is the words for hunting. And the words for hunting in Toraja is mangasu. Mangasu, one simple word. It is hunting. But mangasu, asu means dog. Mangasu means working, guided by dogs. Mangasu, not just about hunting. It's about how we get our meat from the forest, because mangasu is in the forest. It's about our relationship with our dogs. It's about our responsibility to work together as a community, because when we go for hunting, we never go alone. And you can see when mangasu is no longer practiced, the whole social, economic, food, our relationship with our territories, including our brothers, dogs, is already influenced, is already degraded. Because in Toraja, we believe that animal and plants are our sisters and brothers, our siblings. We say talulalona, we are twins, triples. But once we don't do the mangasu or hunting anymore, the whole relationship, the whole meaning of the community will already be gone. That's why I say our words, our language, our letter is not just words, language, and letter. It is the expressions, manifestations of our wholeness, our holistic practice as indigenous peoples. And that's why when we say language revitalizations, it's not just about teaching them in schools. It's about practicing them. It is not about writing the script. Because even if we're writing the script, but we don't use it anymore, or we use it only in rituals, like us the Toraja do the most, they will become like, the Latin. They are dead, but they are only used in the church by the Catholic Church or in the legal systems. We use some Latin words, but that is no longer part of a culture. That's why our indigenous language is not just to be documented. If we only document our language without practicing them, that is also good, because at least we have a museum of our language. But what is very important, and this is to my sisters and brothers, all of us here, we need to remind ourselves, by doing these things, it's not just about documentations. It's not just about writing. It's not just about remembering. But we can use that to, as how do you call this? As what is it when you in the tire in the car, We call it in Indonesia, we call it lahar. It's a gear. We can use that to activate, not just revitalization of language, but it is to restore what we have lost if possible. We can use that to trigger our community to remember our history, to remember what is the good practice in the past, and to remember what we still have left, and also to remember and to decide together what aspect in our life as indigenous peoples that we want to restore. Because if we only do documentation of language, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna help us. It will help us, but it's not gonna help us the most. The thing in Toraja, why we still survive? Because we still do siarak. Siarak in Indonesia is gotong royong. Siarak in English is, I don't know, like collective work. Maybe they don't have it in English because they don't have that practice. But it's working together, preparing funeral ceremony, yeah, working on the field as a community. It's collective. We never work alone. But why siarak is still there? Because we're still practicing it. The word is still there. But siarak is not just siarak. It is about our survival as the Toraja. Because through siarak, we share food. We share not just power, not just building things together. We share food. We share knowledge. We maintain our diverse knowledge and skills. Because in Toraja, not everyone knows everything. We have people who are skillful in carving. We have people who are skillful in treating the bamboos. We have people who don't have who don't care about doing all these things, but they have the power to carry wood, for example. Not everybody can. If we don't do siarak, if we don't work as a community, we won't be able to take care of our rice field. And if we don't do siarak for harvest, then we will never be able to harvest the plants that we have planted. Our rice field will be harvested by pest if we don't do that. Meaning, that's about our food sovereignty. So language is there because we're still practicing it. Siarak remains there because we're still practicing it. That's why when we call cultural revitalizations, we need to remember we have to use this to bring back our community together, and they can reflect about our life, what we have lost, what is broken, damaged, and what is our future plan about our life. So it's not just, again, it's not just about writing. It's not just about teaching in the schools, but it's about our community. We use that to organize our community, and it's about the very survival of us as indigenous peoples. I thank you, everyone, for the great work that you have done. I'm the witness of what my friends in Aman, Marolop, and Ferry has been doing over the years, and I'm grateful to be part of this. And as always, I say Pawanka is like my next close family, next to Aman, of course. And thank you very much, everybody, again. Carla, I remember in the old days, I always call Carla Barbara. I don't know why do I call, maybe because of the bush. I say Barbara Bush. And of course, Yuri is here, Juan David is here, Edna is here, Emma is here, everybody is here. Oh my gosh, I cannot mention all the name. And Lucy, of course, my darling, my dear, my sister, my friend. Thank you very much. Again, we have Marolop and Ferry here. Thank you very much. Kurre Sumanga. Good morning from Indonesia, and I hope you all have a fruitful meeting. I have to excuse myself because I have to go somewhere else. I just woke up like 40 minutes ago, and Lucy said, you have to do this. So I quickly go and do my shower.
Thank you
Because this
so
is
much.
Pawanka, I cannot say no, you know. So thank you again very much, everybody. Sending
Thank you.
our love from
Thank you
Indonesia.
very much, Ruka. Have a
Thank you,
wonderful rest of your
Ruka.
day. Bye
Maraming
there.
salamat, as we say. Thank you. It's so rich with insights. And we will see later how, when the webinar rolls on, how her words will reflect in the sharing of our different speakers this morning. Thank you. Thank you, Ruka. It's really very heartwarming for a guiding committee member to sit with us, to join the conversations. Thank you. It's inspiring indeed. Okay, so now I would like to reintroduce to you our program director, who's going to talk about the rationale of this language webinar. She has been helping, guiding us through so many activities with regards to the language revitalization initiatives of Pawanka. I now give the floor to our program director, Carla Bush, for the opening remarks, for the contextualization, for the sharing of deeper and other information about the language webinar. Carla?
Thank you very much, Luce. And after that wonderful, I would say, setting of the stage by Ruka, there is very little to be said. It was wonderful, very inspiring. I believe that is exactly why Pawanka do what we do. And we build our program and all the activities that we do based on those principles that Ruka just set beautifully when she talked about why we contribute towards the work for Indigenous people around language. I just want to continue by saying that we believe because of that, fostering that precisely is the reason why we have this dialogue today, to continue to I would say, to hear from 5 of our partners how they have, in a way, promote, foster, enhance, advocate the different strategies, the challenges they've been going through to preserve the language and to enhance the language revitalization in their region. And we will hear from them how they did in contributing and using the words Ruka said collectively contribute towards that resurgence of Indigenous language, ensuring that they remain vibrant and to continue to strive for the next generation to continue to have language from the mother using still the mother tongue. As you hear from Ruka, Indigenous language is more than just words. She kept saying it's about we having the opportunity to practice. It's about how we can preserve these words, but more about how we can restore our culture. It's our pride. It's how we can continue to strengthen the community, how we can be resilient and assertive towards our self-determination. It's really about the language deepening connection to the land, to the governance, to the spiritual practice, she was saying, making it a key pillar to Indigenous-led movement for right and serenity. This is what Pawanka is built on. This is part of our vision, and this is the urgency of what Pawanka is working towards and constantly supporting towards making these initiatives for the language revitalization. These 5 partners is going to share with us the diverse methodology that they have used towards the different transmission of knowledge, different transmission of how they have based this. She was saying it's not only to keep into the schools, how they have combined the different media using the indigenous knowledge with technology, how they have advocate to protect these the indigenous languages, and they're right. Luchi have guided us and have invited 5 right now, 5. There are many more, but for this session, we have invited 5 of our partners from Asia to share their experience. We're going to do this by having an participatory approach conversation. Luchi and I will co-facilitate this. We'll bring in our partners to share these experiences. We'll have the 5 of the partners talking to us, and then we'll have an open space where we'll have you. So please just write in your chat or in the chat that is there or in your notebook. Write your thoughts, your question, your comments, so that when the floor is open, you can bring that to the table and share with us. It can be a reflection, it can be a question, it can be just an observation, whatever it is. But before that, I wanted to also remind you that, as our guiding committee member was saying, as we speak right now, there is somewhere in the world one of our indigenous languages being extinct. We know that there is more than indigenous people make up of 6% of the global population, yet there is 4,000 people, 4,000 world, almost 7,000 people, languages are being spoken by indigenous people. 4,000 speakers in the world, and there is 7,000 languages. We know that 75% of these will become, if we continue, there are a prediction of up to 95% of the world languages may become extinct seriously if we don't take serious action on this. We know that there are a lot of articles that directly from the UNRIP are related to preserving and asking that in a holistic manner, we all take, action towards this. The Article 13 of the United Nations Declaration clearly state that we should work towards revitalizing the indigenous languages to make sure that we ensure that they're transmitted to the next generation, that not only oral, not only writing, but also to document this, to ensure that that it's really kept. Also the 14th and 16th also, and that there are curriculum in the institutional states to preserve this. Actions clearly to ensure that. So as Ruka said, the heart of language revitalization is to ensure that it never becomes extinct, and that it aims to ensure their language will be passed on to the next generation. So I join my colleagues, I join our guiding committee members and Luchi to welcome you and thank you all for being here. So I now pass the floor to Luchi to welcome each one of the speakers and to bring you to the table to start the conversation. Thank you all.
Thank you, Carla. Thank you so much. I was looking at the participants, and I'm so proud that I think we're close to 35 organizations in Asia participating in this morning's conversations. It is really heartwarming that you found the time you prepared for this special event to share your stories, your narratives. But we are, of course, giving the floor, the space now to 5 speakers that we have invited, and they have prepared different presentations. There's a video presentation, there are PowerPoint presentations, and an oral tradition. He's going to speak as we present photos of their initiative on language revitalization. But of course, we know if you just read the chat box, the conversations are already starting with specific stories, particular narratives of different indigenous peoples all over Asia. So thank you so much for all the representatives. I cannot name you all right now. There are close to, as I said, 35 organizations. Whether you've been engaging in language revitalization or not, we know that all the initiatives are integrated with the language. Because as we said, speaking it and doing practical things using the language is what gives soul to our culture and identity. Okay, may I now request Juan David to show us the list of our esteemed speakers this morning to introduce them. Okay. Okay, first we shall have Dev Kumar Sunwar. I will introduce him more deeply later. And then he is from Nepal. We have the video presentation of Sister Aristea Reylina Bautista. She's a Franciscan missionary of Mary, and she will be sharing with us a video presentation. We have Mulu with a very long name, so I call him Mulu from PASD from Thailand. Okay. We have, of course, Mathura Bikash Tripura from Bangladesh with a very rich experience of language initiative of their organization. And last but not least, we will have Dr. Jianhua Wang from the ACA network, and he shall be the last to present with his PowerPoint. So there we have an interesting array of presenters. Our suggestion is we all listen to their inputs, their sharing, and then you can already put in your insights, your questions, as Carla said. You can note them down, you can put them in the chat box so we don't forget them during the open forum. Is that okay with us? Okay, so without much ado, I shall call on Dev, the chair of the Indigenous Media Television, to share with us their experience, their lessons, their good practices. The floor is yours, Dev.
Thank you, Luchi. First of all, Nam Sil. Greetings from Sunwar Indigenous language. And before I begin to my presentation or a kind of oral presentation, I would like to extend my gratitude on behalf of Indigenous Media Foundation or Indigenous Television to Pawanka Fund for supporting Indigenous Television or its initiative. So Indigenous Television is run or managed under the Indigenous Media Foundations, which was founded in 2011 as non-profit organizations founded by working journalists from different indigenous nationalities of Nepal. And then television itself, we founded in 2016 on August 9. So this year we are celebrating the complete 9-year or 10 years of Indigenous television. So one of the missions that we are using the radio as well as television, especially the community, Indigenous-led community media, to amplify the Indigenous voices, especially not only amplifying the Indigenous voices, but also to pass the knowledge, skills, including language to the next generations. And before we launched this television in 2016, we had founded 2 Indigenous-led community radio stations, both in remote area, which is Radio Kairan and Radio Likhu, and we started producing radio programs in different locally spoken Indigenous languages. And since we found a kind of fund, a kind of attractions of indigenous peoples in the ground with the radio, we replicated the idea of a radio into a television. So we launched a TV later on. So it was the initiative that we undertook in 2013 and 14. So in between, we also formed a network of indigenous-led community radios, and then we just named as Indigenous Community Radio Network, under which there are 24 different indigenous-led community radios. So today we have, together with indigenous-led community radios, cable television, satellite television, print, to some extent online, that indigenousvoice.com online platform, as well as social media platforms to amplify the indigenous voices in the language that they speak and understand. So since you all know that Nepal obviously is home to 142 different ethnic and caste groups speaking over 124 different languages. So out of these 142 different ethnic and caste groups, 59 are recognized as indigenous peoples, indigenous nationalities, and they speak about 95 languages out of 124. Almost 90% of the languages which are spoken in Nepal are held by indigenous peoples. But to tell you the reality is that there has been a limited access to information or the communications in the language that indigenous peoples speak and understand is a key challenge for indigenous peoples especially making their informed choices. So far, the media content which are available only in Nepali and English, which are of no interest to indigenous peoples. Why there is no interest is the media content which are available in Nepali, which mainly cover not the issues which are concerns with the indigenous peoples. And English is they are not their own language, so therefore which are of no interest as all. So on the other hand, indigenous peoples actually have very little access or very little voice or participations in the media, because by and large, the ministry media, the so-called ministry media, is owned and controlled by the socially and economically powerful groups. Therefore, indigenous peoples actually have no say in the decision-making process of any development projects which are undertaken in their land or territories, though it affects their lives or beliefs or well-being. So since almost all the decisions which are made in the capital city without free, prior, and informed consent of indigenous peoples, therefore that actually let us think to come off or establish our own media that is led by indigenous peoples to share the stories that they speak in the language that they speak and understand. On the other hand, in the global arena, that the UN actually has declared in 2019 the International Year of Indigenous Languages, and now the UN has declared the International Decade of Indigenous Languages for 2022 to 2032. But if you look into Nepal governments, which has remained a kind of remarkably silent, especially to uphold its international commitment and responsibility, especially to protect the linguistic diversity and heritage. So why Nepal has been silent? What I wanted to say is, despite being rich in terms of the language, the government has been a kind of, let's say, a kind of rigid or less flexible in promoting the indigenous languages. Why I'm saying this, it has already passed like 4 years now. The UN actually has declared the decade, the 4 year has already passed, but the government of Nepal has not given any heed to promote the indigenous languages. And many indigenous languages actually are in critically endangered situations. And UNESCO itself actually estimates that almost 70% of indigenous languages which are in critical conditions. And there has remained very fewer speakers who are fluent in their languages. So, therefore, what we thought that the indigenous peoples who are especially the oral communities, they don't have writing practices. So for them, the radio as well as television is one of the best medium for documenting their knowledge. And therefore, we are using the community radio as well as the television to document, especially the indigenous languages. So what we think is indigenous languages, which, as Ruka in the opening said, that which is not only the words or the written letters, but languages which are in the stories of indigenous peoples, in the songs, or in the rituals, and in the cultures, or more than this, and that is based on the daily conversation of indigenous people. So we have used the television, we have used the community radios, especially to document or preserve, especially document their oral traditions, documenting their rituals, their cultures, recording, archiving of their daily conversations. That is how what we are doing is. And what we believe is, obviously, as the Ruka said at the opening, that the indigenous communities, it is good that we have a books, or we have a dictionaries, or written the printed materials. But for indigenous peoples who are less literate, for them the oral the practices, oral medium, the audio visual medium are the better than the books or the printed materials. So therefore we have used the radios, and why we first chose the radio was that the radio is affordable and also portable means, so that which actually make indigenous peoples easy for them to access the content, and also easily accessible for them to visit to the local radio and document or share their stories. And more than this, our communities, indigenous peoples, are mostly located in remote areas, which there is limited access to internet, or limited access to the present day, what we call the information technology, or internet, or our digital platform as well. So therefore, the radio or the television is the perfect medium for them to document their languages and preserve their languages and so forth. So through our radio, through the television, we have actually documented their, daily, the conversations that they actually hold. We have been producing TV programs today in 19 different indigenous languages, and a couple of others are in pipeline besides Nepali and English. So we have almost close to 25 different languages which are spoken in Nepal that we produce TV programs. So therefore we have been able to claim ourselves as indigenous television is only a multilingual indigenous-led community television in Asia, at least in Asia. So besides in this TV, we do not only produce TV programs into different languages, but equally we document their daily stories through our documentaries, and also the knowledge, especially the indigenous peoples actually are using while farming, or a kind of the herbal medicines, the practices that they are undertaking. So besides all these, we also cover the issues related with human rights violations and so forth. So these are only the certain issues that we cover, but besides this, we also are setting an agenda related with the indigenous peoples and their concerns with the education, health, and political participation and so forth. So Indigenous Media Foundations does not only broadcast the programs into different languages, but also what we think the indigenous youth are the backbone. and indigenous youth are the next generations to continue the language practice, the practicing of knowledge and language and so forth. So we train indigenous youth to run, how to produce TV programs, of radio programs, and also we pass the skills kind. And also to ensure the sustainability of television or radio itself. On one part. On the other hand, for centuries, that indigenous peoples were not able to see if their languages are being broadcasted in the mainstream media or the print media and so forth. So today, since we have undertaken this indigenous-led radio or indigenous television, so the youth, especially indigenous youth, what we have seen is they are really proud of seeing their languages are being screened in the television, and the communities, actually indigenous communities, being very proud being proud to see that their languages are being broadcasted in television screens, and their voices being heard, especially in the larger arena. And while doing all this, one of the strategies that we have doing is the community involvement. So without the involvement of respective language speaking communities, the television itself is only the platform that we have created. So without their participations, the Indigenous Television or Indigenous Media Foundation alone cannot do it. So actually, one of the strategies that we have undertaken is we have partnered with each and every language speaking communities, each and every indigenous peoples organizations which are across Nepal, and being only the indigenous-led television or only the indigenous-led radio stations, we're really proud to partner with indigenous peoples, and indigenous peoples organizations are actually are what we think are proud to have their issues being covered in the television channel or radios. But despite all this, there are also challenges I would like to highlight. That so one of the challenges, what I would like to say is, if you look into the provisions of in the constitution, all new constitutions, there is beautiful wordings, beautiful provisions in the laws and policies of Nepal. In order to protect the languages which are spoken in Nepal. But the government of Nepal has not made any investment. So investment in the promotions of indigenous languages. But the remarkable or good news for you is only last week, one of the province, which is Gandaki province, last week only decided to use the Gurung as well as the Magar language as the official government businesses in the Gandaki provinces. Last year, the Bagmati province actually decided to use Tamang and Newar besides Nepali as the official government businesses. So there has been a kind of environment to use the indigenous languages being used in the official businesses of government. But so far, the enforcement has been very low. What I want to say is the policies, the laws, and this declarations acknowledgement has remained only in the paper. So the indigenous television or media actually is trying to fill this gap. And the regular funding has always been a challenge to sustain this kinds of initiative, to continue the media itself, and also the initiative undertaken under this. And I also believe that not all the indigenous brothers and sisters who are lucky enough to have a television channel or the radio channel, just like we have in Nepal. So, but there are also freely available social medias today, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or whatever, TikTok and so forth. So I really encourage to use our brothers and sisters, massively use this freely available social medias to document the world knowledge of indigenous communities, their cultures and share them, or at least to archive them. So as Ruka said, I would like to conclude that by saying that when language dies, as Ruka said, the culture, the identity, our rituals also dies too. So therefore, let's act before the silence actually fall. So let's use our freely available, whatever the mediums that we have, and we are really open to assist how to start a radio or television or use a social media itself, even if it is not possible to start a physical radio or television. And but we can run online TV or online radio as well. So for that one, we are ready to support all the partners funded under the Pawanka and all the brothers and sisters. And finally, once again, I would like to thank Pawanka for this opportunity, and also continuously supporting and sustaining our initiative in Nepal. Thank you, Zerenam.
Thank you so much, Deb. Wow, that's a challenge, no? For all of us. Well, some of our partners here, I think they have community radios, but to go into television is really a challenging it's a challenging task, but it's really interesting because it's the most accessible. Radio is accessible. Of course, the phone. I remember, Deb, when you were here in the Philippines, you said there was already a phone app, no, that indigenous media was using. I think you did not mention that. So, knowledge at the tip of your finger, literally. So we will talk about that later during the open forum. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for the sharing of a wonderful initiative of IMF in Nepal. Okay, Juan David, may we present our next speaker. Please take note of all your questions, your insights. Juan David will present to us the video, but first of all, the introduction to our resource speaker from the Philippines, Sister Aristea Bautista, who can't be here with us today, but she has sent a representative, Lori Victor, to answer questions later. So Sister Thea, I call her Sister Thea, she's a committed religious sister of the Franciscan Missionaries of Mary since 1978. She has dedicated over 4 decades to the service of indigenous peoples, particularly the Mangyan communities of Occidental Mindoro. She holds degrees in accounting and community development. She is also a licensed certified public accountant. Wow. Before entering religious life, she worked as an auditor of a prestigious auditing firm here in the Philippines, and she played a vital role in indigenous organizing, leadership training, education, health services, and ancestral domain advocacy. So let's listen to her video presentation. Thank you, Juan David.
Good morning. Mayag pagsurit in Hanunuo language. Fia fagmarumaru in Buhid language. I am Sister Aristea Bautista, Franciscan Missionaries of Mary. It is a pleasure to come to a meeting with people who share the same commitment, endeavor, and advocacy with us. That is, the sustenance of the indigenous knowledge, systems, practices, spirituality, and language. Our school, Paaralang Mangyan, na angkop sa kulturang aalagaan. In English, it means a school that nurtures Mangyan culture, with an acronym PAMANAKA. In English, it means heritage, comes from the initiative of Mangyan elders and leaders in collaboration with the Franciscan Missionaries of Mary. It has been born out of consultations, Mangyan exchanges, and deliberations about their situation and their aspirations. We facilitated the articulation of their dreams for a special education that is rooted in Mangyan culture, located in a Mangyan community where all teachers and students are Mangyans and eventually will be owned and managed by the Mangyans themselves. Established in 1999, after 25 years of efforts, such a dream has been realized. The administration and management of the school today has been turned over to Mangyan teachers who have been helped to earn a master's degree in education management and were mentored in practice through time to do the task. The school has been duly recognized by the Philippine Department of Education as a formal private elementary and secondary school. How does language revitalization contribute to self-determination of indigenous peoples? Language is key to identity and sustainability of a cultural heritage that was the legacy of indigenous peoples. It enables the transmission of culture in its deepest meaning and practice, especially when we consider that Mangyan orality is the manner by which ancestors transmitted indigenous values and convictions. Embedded in the Mangyan language is the basic value for ancestral domain, which for them is not only a piece of property, but a repository of their way of life that was handed down through generations. It is life-determining, and transmitting such value to the younger generations ensures the sustenance of a people's identity. Hence, it became a vision for the Mangyans to have a school where life will be restored to their original self-determination, with language being one component of assertion of identity and culture. What are the main challenges indigenous communities face in reclaiming and strengthening their language? In the earlier times, the Mangyans live an isolated life in the mountains, where they mingle only among themselves. But time came in their life history when they began to relate and engage with the lowlanders. The basic vehicle for meeting lowland mainstream perspective is education. Schools in the mountains and even in the town have lowland teachers who carry a low regard for the Mangyans. The medium of instruction from grade 4 to tertiary levels, carrying with it an ongoing means of assimilation and eventual loss of the Mangyan heritage. Graduates are looked up to when they are proficient in English and Filipino, influenced by the need to achieve social status and social acceptability. Those who study no longer appreciate their language, culture, and identity. True to what the Mangyans have defined for themselves, the medium of instruction used in the elementary level in Pamanaka is Mangyan language. English and Filipino is taught as a secondary language in the later years to enable them to engage with education in the secondary and tertiary level. As the Mayan leaders and elders have said, they also have to learn the vehicle by which they were cheated and exploited, but only after they have gained the orientation and the stance to stand for their own rights and pursue Mangyan interests. How does the revitalization of indigenous language impact cultural identity, governance, and well-being in sustaining indigenous language? Family and community relational ties, and the cohesion of the whole indigenous cultural communities across generations. Sense of identity and kinship of the indigenous cultural communities is reinforced by continued language use. Second, in the indigenous people's education, which is a community-led development strategy, the use of language is complemented by the participation of elders in the teaching-learning process so that the learners realize that their elders have knowledge that is also relevant and significant in the contemporary times, thereby reinforcing respect for the elders and for their communities' indigenous knowledge, which is transmitted in their language. Third, with the use of language complemented by the respect for elders and their communities' knowledge systems, the rootedness of the younger generations in their culture and identity is deepened, so that despite the challenges, they continue asserting their community's right to continued peaceful coexistence and development with the rest of the world. One manifestation is through continued practice of governance systems. What are the successful examples of indigenous-led language revitalization efforts, and what lessons can we learn from them? How do indigenous language initiatives contribute to environmental stewardship and land governance? For us, in IP education, the initiatives for language continuity and transmission of indigenous knowledge, systems, practices, and spirituality are dovetailed through activities like Suyot. This is a community gathering that happens after they have laid indigenous traps to catch fowl or boar in the forest. In the evening, the elders spend the whole night with young and adult people gathered together telling Mangyan stories in their indigenous language. The content of Suyot is equivalent to fable, and the running theme is getting a catch. In the Mangyan belief system, this whole night storytelling exercise lures the fowls or animals to go into the trap at their will. Pamanaka school calendar hosts a Suyot gathering in partnership with the community as a means to support the transmission of oral traditions and its embedded skill sets. Both the indigenous knowledge systems, practices, and spirituality as content of the Suyot, and the capacity to do Suyot, the language skill component, are honed in the learners in a natural setting. The second practice is tukawan. Tukawan is a seasonal tradition equivalent to a summer camp. In the natural Mangyan life cycle, families and communities leave their villages in summer and encamp in the forest at a place near a river or a water resource. They stay there in makeshift shelters to be able to gather nami, a Mangyan root crop that is toxic but processed with herbs immersed in the water resource until, based on Mangyan standards, it becomes edible. They are made into cakes, which they try to produce as many as they can during the season to be able to have a stock of food that they can eat during the season called kiriwi. Kiriwi is the time between planting and harvest when all food resources have been exhausted. As part of the academic calendar of Pamanaka, the tukawan is also undertaken by the school in partnership with the host community. Skill sets and indigenous knowledge systems, practices, and spirituality learned in the tukawan are transmitted using their own language and knowledge transmission processes during the interaction of the community elders with the learners in actual environmental management related activities of the community. The suyot, and especially the tukawan, are community practices involved in environmental relationship and management. Lessons learned. First, intergenerational relationships are crucial, both in cultural transmission, including language continuity. Second, cultural erosion happens when terminologies are lost through the loss of venues for practicing indigenous knowledge, systems, practices, and spirituality. Providing venues to experience the cultural practices make knowledge and language transmission more organic and resilient. In what ways can indigenous organizations collaborate to strengthen language preservation along regions? First, the experience of the Federation and the organizations working together. Second, in the school, learning each other's language. Pamanaka's involvement in the wider network of IP education practitioners. What policy and legislative efforts are needed to protect and promote indigenous languages on a global scale? We see the possibility of binding international agreements to promote IP culture and language. How can digital tools and technology be leveraged to support indigenous language revitalization efforts? We see three things. First, the faster development of reading materials using digital tools. Second, digital tools that can enhance vocabulary building. Third, indigenous language, values, and practices can be presented to the indigenous youth in a more attractive and convincing way, as interest in these matters competes with an era of social media and technology that permeates even indigenous communities today. This ends my sharing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to Pamanaka through Sister Thea. Another enriching conversation we will have later with Lori, if she's still around. Yeah, I think she is. If you have questions about Pamanaka. Thank you. Now I turn over to Carla for the introduction of our next speaker. Carla, please.
Thank you, Luce. And our third speaker of this night is Molu. He has a lovely and long name, Sangfosak. I can't say that, so I'm sorry. I apologize for that. But he's a community activist from the Karen Indigenous group based in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and almost 28 years work experiences with local community, IP's Indigenous and state agency. He works on a land alternative education, mother tongue transmission, community resources, management, biodiversity protection, and work in collaboration on sustainable development between local community network, state agency, NGOs, civil society organization, both in the national level and regional levels. I welcome Molu to the floor. Thank you so much.
Juan David will share his PowerPoint presentation. Thank you.
Do you see my screen?
Yes, Mulu, we can see.
So this is my screen, right? It's not from
Yeah.
your side, no?
Yes, we
Okay.
can see.
We can.
Yeah.
Well, Luchi, actually, I am sharing my screen. I don't know if Mulu is sharing his screen.
Oh,
Yeah,
Mulu,
yeah,
are you going to
share.
share? Oh, okay.
Yeah, can you share my screen? Yeah.
Okay. It's okay then. Thank you, Juan David. Sorry for that.
Okay, don't worry. It's okay. Already you have permission to share your screen, Mulu?
Okay. Thank you. Okay, you can see my screen now. Do you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Clear.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, good morning, everyone. We have an old friend, new friend, and new brother, sister here, no? Lucy, Madura, Edna, Paul, Luca, Masla, and Thai friend and other new friends. Yeah, good morning, y'all. The first thank you, I would like to thank you for to Pawanka that you have supported this project to us. It's very useful, very powerful for our project. So yeah, the people already introduced me to each other. So I just working to do a little bit of my organization. Now I work with the Pawanka Association for Sustainable Development, or PSD. So we have founded this organization by officially in 2009 with the community leaders, senior NGOs, academic person who interested in work with the current people, no? At the federal level and national levels, beyond to the working with the global levels. Yeah, so I belong to current group, or in our language we call Pawanka. Pawanka means human or people, and also current people also call other people as a human. Yeah. So the population of the current people in Thailand around 800,000 people. This I got this information from the Palang Sayam party. This is a party he have done with the assimilation of the current people in Thailand, no? So current people is the original people right here. They're living here longer than 1,200 years until 1,700 years. This before Lanna Kingdom. We call Lanna Kingdom is a northern region of Thailand. Or before we have our country near us at Thailand, other people or other country they know us as the Siam or Siam country. We just have changed name to Siam to Thailand around 84 years until now. So I will not focus on that or this. So this project we call current language transmission in the current communities. No? So we have our project target area together 9 communities, and then plus with the PhD staff. The reason why we want to focus on our staff too, because they are the young people, because we work on the mother tongue transmission. Even we don't know the language, this is not good for the implementation. So that's why we add one group of PhD staff is a part of the project target group. Let's see. In our current language now, we have together 2 scripts. The script 1, the language, the letters like this, no? Maybe in this region, it look like Mon also use this script, and Myanmar, Karen, or Chan people, they also use of this script. We call it Liva. But if we write like this, we can just use in the current language. So this one, the more general for the people can have used in our region. Just use the word as a more custom to use this language. And then yeah, sorry. Yeah, another script they call Romanized. Romanized is provided from the Catholic missionary, you know, they have made with this script. Almost the Catholic people, they can use of this script. So they call Romanized. So we also use, in the process, we also use the textbook or teaching plan from other neighbor organization at here. Yeah, what we have action on this project in our communities. So I want to brief you a little bit. And one, we work on the lead community elder or knowledgeable strengthening on language teaching and on mother tongue language, both in the school and in the communities. You know, and in the elder one, they have a lot of knowledge. They can read and write of the current script or Liwa, but they don't know how to teach, how to transmit to the young generation with the teaching skill. We have to prepare to them. The second one, we develop our curriculum and textbook on the both script. No, one is the Liwa and Romanized. This now we are proceeding of this will be done by maybe end of this month. Many schools are waiting for this because of here. So the first I want to thank to Impact Association too. They have provided a lot of textbooks and teaching plan for this for a long time. So we use a lot of experience in textbook, and now we PhD have adjust for one, we call one-stop service. We just making only one volumes, no, to make it for the beginning to until the people can read and write mother tongue language to through this textbook, no? So our implementation, but yeah, our implementation on language transmission, we work at with the school. We work at we work from the kindergarten levels, primary school and secondary school. This session in charge by the teacher and community resource person who put at it in the language to work on it together. And another thing, they don't work in the school, they work in the community center or village hall. For example, at like a major community and major community, they also use the temple to teach the student and the youth during school during the weekend and school vacation. So it is a very active for them. At the third part, at PhD office, we also provide a section for our staff have learned about our mother tongue language. The fourth one, we're making a video mother tongue transmission experience from this project. We make video from the beginning project and then until end of this project. We want to show and share to each other too. The fifth one, we try to summarize of our language transmission among our neighbor organization and our project target area. What we action? Yeah, we can see this one. We can see the parent who have a language skill come and teach the student in the school. From this community, they're teaching in the evening at community resource center. So we can see the parent come and join with this. They're very active. They very like of this process. The the children and the youth, they also have fun with the transmission process too. It's very active in our project area. The result of this, so we can see that both the elder or student parent or the teacher, they're very happy, they fulfill with our mother tongue learning process. So they say that this is a very highlight of the education process, because normally they just forgot only the core curriculum or national curriculum. Now they bring this mother tongue. This is for a very surprise for them. And I also interview the student and youth. They also feel very happy on mother tongue learning process too. Now they can start read and write, and some of them beyond to they can read storytelling. In the process, the children and the youth, they very like of the lesson learn the lesson through picture or media or storytelling. So picture is really useful to learn the mother tongues. And another one at our office, three young staff of us, they have improved their current language, the mother tongue. Normally they have learn or study some of the current mother tongue, but after we proceed of this project, they really like very active at this. And we also have another 5 young staff of us. They're also interesting. They're very active to learn of this. This is very useful. I'm sorry. The local community itself, they have running education integration between the co-curriculum and local curriculum. especially they use the mother tongue transmission. Because the government now, they already open. Many schools, they're willing to join with this project because the mother tongue, they use mother tongue, they link to other study. Mother tongue with the culture, one mother tongue with the other traditional knowledge, mother tongue with the Sikh coalition. So when they talk in the current language, they said in the meaning is very clear. It's really powerful to the spiritual life. If it is used in other language, the meaning or the value will change. And then for this, they all the other school too, they all asking about the textbook or teaching plan from us. So our partner organization at here, we work together with Impact and PSD. Another organization, Chiang Mai Dissect, this is a Catholic mission. This organization, they teach on the Romanite. So when they communicate to the group, they will use the Romanized script. Even the Bible, they also use this. So we work with the partner organization. We use the experience from Milwaukee community to this one Milwaukee community, because this community learning center, they have run of education by local community longer than 32 years until now. And okay, go back. Okay, finally, we propose that our student or young generation, they can read and write our mother tongue, understand and assess the meaning of our current teaching of philosophy, to use the resources and biodiversity protection. For example, I try to type down here in the current language, but I don't have font by the update version, so I cannot do it. But I want all of our students try to follow to write in the current script. For example, like our current teaching, our grandfather, mother have taught us that when you look at the resource and the biodiversity use, so we will start that the idea or the belief system, they will say that all things on the world or universal have an owner. It means that the soil, water, mountain, insects, wildlife, people, sky have an owner. The owner here is not the owner but belong to the people, but the owner here is spirit. Water has spirit, mountain has spirit. So when we have to ask a permission and respect of that. So this is one thing that we keep this ideology of the current people in our minds, and the young people had to keep this. The second one, they will teach us about the resource use. If you use the forest, care for the forest. If you drink the water, care for the water. If you eat the fish, don't disturb the river. If you eat the frog, care for the rocks. This is the main ideology of the current people. They have taught the young people. And then for the resource use, they said using of the resources in your blood based on practice sufficiency and eat just enough. Another word is say that they will remind us in our daily life. They say that if you live as a poor people, we will never ever become to a poor people. If we're living as the rich people, we will never ever become to a rich people. This is the remind us. When we translate entire English, the word or the meaning is not clear. But if we talk in current language, it's a really powerful, more energy to understand and to remind our lives. The last one I want to show, just said living based on sufficiency. Don't take everything for yourself, but you have to keep it for others. That's why I want our young people, when they can read and write of the language, and then they have to know about the meaning and they how to apply it in their life. That's why the PhD want to work on this. So I will finish with this picture. Thank you for attention.
Thank you so much, Monu. That was very inspiring and I would say very holistic approach, which we had the participation. You presented how elders, students, teachers, parents, and everybody was involved in this process, and that I can't wait to hear questions and comments and feedback from the broader audience. So thank you so much. I won't ponder more on this because I want to hear the participants, have more to say on this. And I would now like to pass it to the fourth participant, fourth speaker, and his name is Mathura Biskash Tripura. He is a prominent development worker and an indigenous rights advocate from the Chittagong Hill Tracts, Bangladesh. With a master's degree in history from the University of Chittagong, he has been actively involved in grassroots development, indigenous education, and right awareness since 1997. He served as an executive director of Sabarang Kalit Samiti, a leading NGO in the region. In 2021, he received the International Mother Language Award for his lifelong contribution. Welcome, Mr. Mathura. The floor is yours. And may I embrace this opportunity to remind us all to please take down your notes, comments, observations that you have. We have one more speakers after Mr. Mathura, so please don't forget. And then we will start the conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Mathura. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Yes. Welcome to my presentation. So I would actually try to share the information about
Hello,
our
Ma'am
activities
Ariane.
that we have done
Maitatanong
in
lang po ulit kami doon sa bed document. Ma'am, di ba pinalitan na natin yung 303, di ba? Sa GAA targets,
Miss
column G.
Lori, excuse
Okay.
me, Miss
Ngayon,
Lori.
napansin lang namin, ma'am, yung column
Miss
I and
Lori.
J, yung current year accomplishments.
Miss Lori. Naka-on yung kanyang. Miss Lori, please mute.
Ay,
okay, that's fine. Yeah. Okay, so in Bangladesh, actually, the government recognized 50 indigenous groups officially. They are about 50,159. So about 1% of the total population of the country, as per the government census. But as per the indigenous peoples, we claim actually it is about 3 million, about 3% of the total population, although the government is not recognizing that. We speak in almost 40 languages, and they are from 4 language families: Austroasiatic, Sino-Tibetan, Dravidian, and Indo-Aryan linguistic families. Most of the indigenous peoples are actually concentrated in Chittagong Hill Tracts, but there are also indigenous peoples in many other regions like Sylhet, Mymensingh, Rajshahi, Dinajpur, Greater Chittagong, Chatpur, Kumila, and other coastal areas. Officially, actually, Bangla is the only official language as per our constitution. That's why actually indigenous children, as the indigenous children, they live in the remote places. They don't speak Bangla and they don't understand Bangla, the national language. As the national language is actually solely conducted in Bangla, the national language. So that's for that reason actually the indigenous children enrollment rate was very low, and there are many cases of dropouts from the indigenous children, and the academic performance of indigenous children is not at the desired level. And the government officials, actually, most of them are not that much aware about the mother tongue education and also the multilingual education. But considering all these situations, the government recognized needs of introducing education in mother tongue of indigenous children in Chittagong Hill Tracts Accord 1997, and also the poverty reduction strategy paper and primary education development program document, and also the eventually in the National Education Policy 2010, the government has recognized that the indigenous children would get education in their mother tongue. So following that, the government has started working on the implementation of the education in mother tongue of indigenous children. So in 2017, for the first time, the government has started education in 5 indigenous languages: Chakma, Marma, Kokborok, my language, Sadri, and Garo. So, and up to 2020, already up to grade 3, it is now introduced in the formal academic education system in Bangladesh. Although there are many other debate about the implementation of the education system. It is because it is too slow, the implementation is too slow, and the schools still, there are many indigenous villages where there is no school, no road communication, and there are also the indigenous communities, they don't have digital facilities, and the teachers, the indigenous teachers, they don't have proper training to introduce the education system in the schools. So there are also many other languages in queue like Mro, Bom, Tonjongia, Khasi, Manipuri, Manipuri. The Manipuri language, there are 2 classes like Manipuri, Meitei, and Vishnupriya. So these 6 languages were supposed to be in the second phase, but since 2017, there is no other languages included yet. So, and there are also many other many languages which are very much endangered and still excluded from the formal education system. The 14 endangered languages we have here in Bangladesh are Mundari, Malto, Khiang, Kumi, Kol, Chak, Pangpa, Patra, Lusai, Kharia, Sora, Kodak, Kondo, and Remicha. So the Kharia only spoken by 2 sisters. If these 2 sisters die, this language will just disappear from Bangladesh. And in Remicha also only 6 speakers were used to speak this, And last year, one son of one of the speakers, he also learned their language, and he became now fluent. And he has already opened one school, evening school, to teach other children uh, how to speak and read in their own language. So now we claim that there are now 7 speakers of Remicha language. So the Lahora also spoken by 200 speakers only, and the Sora only 1,000 speakers. So this is the language situation in our country. So what we have done with our with the support of Pawanka Fund, we call the project's name as Sanjeevan, Revitalization of Endangered Languages and Preparedness of Targeted Languages for the Government Education Program in Bangladesh. As I have mentioned a while ago, there are 6 languages waiting to be introduced in the education program in Bangladesh in the government system. But still, the government, after the first base of activities, they are not taking any initiative to introduce the other languages. That's why we, especially when we started working on our language in the government system, we found that we have many lackings in the writing system, like we don't have proper child-friendly stories. We have many in the oral stories, but they are not collected, they are not compiled. And the rhymes also, the child-friendly rhymes, stories, they are in the field but not compiled to use in the government education system. That's why we plan that with the support of Pawanka, will collect all those writers and researchers of those languages, the 6 languages, and bring them together to support them how to collect and compile and publish the story and rhyme books. There are actually 2 specific objectives: just revitalize the endangered indigenous languages and prepare 6 languages for mother tongue education in the government system. So what we have done, like we published 3 word books of 3 endangered languages and 2 dictionaries. It is actually Android apps of dictionaries, and primer books for 6 languages, and rhymes and story books for the 6 languages, and video documentary on the language endangerment in one language. So these are all processes that we have followed. Like we have organized several types of community consultations with the languages that we work on, and inviting the writers and researchers. We have organized write shops in their own places. And after that, we did the publications. And after the publication, we did one national event where we brought the ministry people, the media, the civil society actors together, and we launched books and video documentary there in front of those stakeholders. This was the launching of the project in one of the Indigenous-led institution in our area. And these are the community consultations in with the linguistic groups. And these are some of the snaps on workshops. So these are the books, some samples of the books we have published. We published different types of books, like word books, the primers, the story, anthology of stories and rhymes. So how many languages we have covered? Endangered languages, we covered Remicha, Sadri, Lohra, and Hajong. preparedness, Khasi Manipuri Maite, Manipuri Vishnupriya, Bom, Tonsongan Mro, and dictionary apps Marma and Kokborok. So the most notable outcomes are workbook for amateur speakers. I have mentioned that only 7 speakers speaking this language. So we have collected the words and published one workbook. And also a workbook in Lahora. It is the first book that written in their own language. They didn't have any written book before. And this Sadri language, there are many Sadri speakers, but they have rare literature or written evidences. So this Sadri book, word book is also first word book for them in Bangladesh. And Android dictionaries in Marma and Kokborok. It is also very much pioneering in documenting the languages. And primer books in 6 languages, child-friendly story and rhyme books in 6 languages, and we have engaged almost 50 types of stakeholders in the implementation of the project. So what we think is still we have many things to do in Bangladesh, like the only 5 languages are included in the education system, although we have about 40 languages. So all of the languages should be included in the education system. Otherwise, they will sometimes may be disappear. And in Bangladesh, actually, the indigenous people are celebrating the IDIL, but the government, they don't have any program. So if there is any program within the government and maybe with the support of UNESCO, that would be useful. Last year, actually, no, this year, UNESCO and Jabarang, we have celebrated together, but still government has to be in the loop. And the teachers training is very much important because we have the books now in 5 languages, but as there is no formal teachers trainings too, so the teachers, they are not able to deliver the classes in their classrooms. And we also need to strengthen our digital use in revitalization of our languages, and also the community efforts we need to strengthen more. And it is very much important to establish one national indigenous language academy by the government, so that the language development process are guided by the centralized institution. And also there is no language policy in Bangladesh. So if we have a national language policy, we'll have the specific provisions for the indigenous languages there. And sometimes when we talk about the introduce of this education in mother tongue, the government claims that they don't have enough budget. So we need to allocate specific budget for the indigenous language revitalization and education in mother tongue of indigenous people. And in every activities, every projects and programs undertaken by the government, the participation of respective communities and also consent from the communities is very much important. And we have some IP-led government institutions like the Hill District Councils, regional councils, and Ministry of Chittagong Hill Tribes Affairs. So all those institutions must be involved in any types of programs and projects undertaken by the actors, but sometimes they are ignored in the process. So this is the book launching ceremony. And I don't know whether I have time. There is one small video on the document on the language endangerment. Is it okay if I play here?
Can you turn on the volume, please, Matura?
Yeah.
There's no audio.
Nobody. No audio, no? I don't know, maybe so, if it is played from the media, I think they are in the ICT, I think.
Oh, but this is available in YouTube.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we can access it.
Okay,
So,
yeah. So actually, my presentation is here. Yeah, thank you very much.
thank you, Matura. Thank you so much. Oh, it's really a bit disturbing, no? Worrisome when we hear about, when we know about data on endangered languages. It really is, it poses a big challenge to all of us. The efforts that we have to put into reviving, revitalizing these endangered and, well, let's say vanishing, because unless we really put efforts into teaching the new generation, the children, about the mother tongue or even the grandmother tongue. I
Yeah,
like that word na that term grandmother tongue, because we speak to children about words that they should understand and identify with. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mathura. Please take note of your questions because we are on to our last but not least speaker for this morning. Juan David, can we present the bio note on Dr. Wang from the ACA network? Okay. Until this morning, we were talking with Dr. Wang if he will if he will be able to connect, and he's here with us now. He's a member of Indigenous Aka people, also known as Ayo in Aka. He earned his PhD in anthropology at University of California, Riverside. He's an associate professor, head of anthropology department, School of Sociology in Yunnan Minsu University in Kunming, Yunnan, China. He's also the Secretary General of the Mekong Aka Network for Peace and Sustainability, or MAPS. He's the Deputy Secretary General, Professional Committee of Environmental Sociology, and in the Chinese Society of Sociology. He's also the Executive Director in the Center for Biodiversity and Indigenous Knowledge of Yunnan. And he's also Vice Director of the Academy of Beima Culture of World Heritage Honghe Hani Terraces. Okay, Dr. Wang, the floor is yours. Do you want us to share, or you will be the one? You will be the one, no? Dr. Wang?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I'm here now. Thank you. Thank you very much to Madam Lucy Maran Nan for your invitation and for your generous introduction of me. And hello, everyone. Good morning. And it's noon already. I'm in China now, and it's noon already. But I'm very happy to be here to share some of our work, our revitalizing Aka language efforts by the Mekong Aka Network for Peace and Sustainability. Could you show the my PowerPoint?
Okay. Juan David, can you please share the PowerPoint of Dr. Wang, please? Thank you.
Okay, okay. Check. Can you watch the screen?
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
And yeah, I will talk about the efforts of revitalizing Aka language by our network. and many of our work supported by Pawanka Foundation. So thank you very much, and I deliver our heartfelt gratitude to Pawanka Fund. Okay, next. Yeah, I will talk about my talk will be in 3 parts. The first, I will introduce the Aka people, also include honey, and the second, I will talk about the writing system of honey Aka people and honey Aka language, and third, I will focus on the efforts of our revitalizing projects. Next. The Aka people is officially classified as a subgroup of Han minority nationality in China. And the Han and Aka are very closely related groups. So I put together because this is how in China it's officially identified. And Han Aka people, they are located in 5 countries in a quadrangle area shown on the map. And the total population is about 2.2 million. And their language belongs to a Loloish branch of Tibeto-Burman groups of Sino-Tibetan families. And among which the Aka people, the population of Aka is over 700,000. Next. This is some picture of Aka. Next. The second part, I will talk about the writing systems of Han Aka language. And in China, some cultural specialists, particularly Han cultural specialists, traditional Han priests, they developed a writing system that is based on Chinese characters that is called Chinese-based Han script, 方块 Han Wen in Chinese. And this has been developed for several hundreds years. And now the Chinese government also helped to collect and publish some of these old literature written in these scripts. Next. And furthermore, after the establishment of People's Republic of China, the government also helped the Han Aka people developed some modern scripts, Romanized modern scripts. The first of all, in 1953, or before I talk about this, and I need to explain a little bit. The Han language in China is classified into 3 dialects. One is Haya, second is Bika, third is Hobai. And Haya, Ha means honey, and Ya means Yani. Yani also represents Aka dialects. And so in 1953, the honey script proposal was developed. And in 1957, another script proposal is called honey script proposal, is also presented, including this. In 1957, the honey script proposal include a honey script of Haya dialect and also Bio script of Bika dialect. So but so far the 3 dialects script proposal were drafted, but finally the higher dialect proposal was adopted. And in 1981, Yani, also the Aka subdialect script, Aka, particularly from Shishapana, was developed based on the Hani script and 1957. And later on in 1983, the Hani script of the higher dialect was amended, which included the Aka script. And in 1994, the Hani script proposal was adopted by the central government of China, so which is still used officially in China. Next. And in Myanmar, in 1927, Italian missionary Portalupi developed a Aka script called the Catholic Aka script. And in 1952, American missionary Paul Lewis developed another script, which is called the Protestant Aka script, which is also used by the Aka people in Thailand. And in 1962, the Burmese government initiated another script that is Burmese character-based, Burmese script-based Aka script. And in 2004, the 3 Aka scripts in Myanmar was united as a United Burman Aka script. Next. And in Thailand, in 1969, in 1969, a Swiss missionary, Peter Weiss, developed the Thai-based Aka script. And in 1989, the Aka Association for Education and Culture in Thailand developed the Affect Aka script. And in 1991, American activist Matthew McDaniel developed the Matthew Aka script. And in 2000, an Aka youth, which is called Other, developed the Other Aka script. And in 2001, a Dutch anthropologist, Leo van Gassel, developed the new Aka script. And in 2004, all of these Aka scripts in Thailand was united into a Thai Aka script. So far, there were at least 12 different Aka scripts, and then we decided to unite them into one. So internationally, in the year 1999 to 2000, on the 3rd International Conference on Hani Aka Culture, we decided to negotiate and unite all the scripts into one. So since there, we formed a international Hani Aka the writing committee or working group to work on this effort. So on August 8th, 2008, a common Aka script is drafted, and then on the January 1st, 2009, the common Hani Aka script was adopted, which is also called Hasa in Aka. Next. So since the Common Aka script was adopted, and then the Mekong Aka network for peace and sustainability was also established. Next. So after that, we make a lot of effort to revitalize our language. The Chinese government is very supportive to revitalize our language, and which is mostly based on the Han dialect, not Aka dialect. So these are some of the effort, like in March 1957 and September 1960, the Yunnan Institute for Nationalities, nowadays Yunnan University, trained over 60 Han persons from Honghe Prefecture in Han script. And then again in 1958 and 1963, the Central Institute for Nationalities trained 14 Han persons from Honghe prefectures in the Han script for bachelor degree. And in 1985, the Central Institute for Nationalities, nowadays it's called the Central Minzu University, it trained another 11 Han persons from Honghe prefectures in Han script. And in 1992 and in 1993, the Yunnan Institute for Nationalities trained 8 and 3 Han persons respectively from the Honghe prefecture in Han script. And since 2012, the Yunnan University has been taking 244 Han students for the bachelor degree in Han literature from all over Yunnan province. Among them, 50 students continued their master studies. So since September 2017, the Honghe University also has started to run Han language literature program. And this official sponsored language and literature program, mostly focus on the Han dialect. Next. So this is the Yunnan University. Yunnan University is running not only the Han language program, but also other 12 ethnic minority or indigenous language programs. So this is the including Tibetan, Daily, Nasi, Lisu, Lahu, Hmong, etc. Next. Next, please. So this besides the government supports to the language transmission and revitalization project, our network, Mekong Network for Peace and Sustainability, MAPS or NADA in Aka, which is established in 2009, has been also carried out a lot of projects and activities to revitalize our Aka language. First, we developed various textbooks for the different ages, and then we have been running many Aka writing and literature training workshop. Particularly in China, there are more than 100 training workshops have been conducted in China, which have trained more than 5,000 the Aka people. And these trainings workshops, usually we mobilize our own inner the resources from our network. And in Myanmar, there are also we have also conducted several training workshops. And in Thailand, we have conducted three training workshop, and on the Akha literacy training. And in Laos, it's a little bit different, difficult to run this training openly. But we invite the Akha representative from Laos to participate in the training workshop held in China or Myanmar or Thailand. And we also carry out a project titled Documents of Akha Oral Traditions, funded by the United States Ambassador's Fund for Cultural Preservation from 2010 through 2014, which produced also many these documents of Akha oral traditions written in Akha scripts. And the last but not the least, I really need to highlight the two projects funded by the Pawanka Fund on the Akha language preservation and revitalization projects. The first is the preservation and transliteration of Akha sacred oral texts, Patasot record, which is funded by the Pawanka in 2023 through 2024. And through this project, we produced can you show next slide? Next slide. Next. Yeah, we produced the three. Oh, next. Yeah, we produced this three volume of Akha sacred oral texts, funded by the Pawanka. This three volume of Akha oral text is very important to preserving Akha language and Akha culture. It's like a monument, it's like a monument of Akha language and literature. How to say, in Akha, the history of Akha language and literature. Yes. And can you show me the previous slide and the previous? Yeah, and this from the first project funded by the Pawanka project, because we need to document the Akha sacred oral texts, which is memorized and cited by a Akha Pima or Akha cultural specialist. And in order to do this, because they are the sacred oral texts, they cannot teach outsiders. So in order to document, in order for the master to teach us, and we need to become their in practice, we need to become their student officially. So I have been initiated as the apprentice of the Akha greatest Pima. And this initiation, this identity is a lifetime commitment. So I will become the lifetime, it will become a lifetime career for me. So on the one hand, I'm a professor on the academic society as a professor in anthropology, teaching at the university. But on the other hand, I will also become a professor, the Aka professor for the Aka community. So for my whole life. So this is my the second profession. So because of this project, I have become, you know, also the professional practices of practitioner of this Aka oral text, sacred oral text. Because of this, I need to become also a master. I also need to teach the younger generations of this oral text, which is very important for the Aka culture, Aka tradition. So we applied for the second project from the Pawanka Fund, which is development of the teaching books of the Aka sacred oral text. So in the new project, you know, we will develop seven textbooks, 7 volume of textbook, and I will become the master. And our in the future, we plan to establish an Aka online language and cultural school, and then we will use our textbook to teach the younger generations, not to the Aka people, not only from the Thailand, but also from China, Myanmar, Laos, and Vietnam. Next. So these are the the last. Yeah. These are some textbooks and also documents developed from the project funded by the U.S. Ambassadors Fund for Culture Preservation. Next, please. Yeah. So this I just already mentioned about these 3 volumes, and so. Once again, thank you very much for the Pawanka Fund to support our Aka language revitalization project, and we look forward to work with you and all of you from on this webinar now, and not only the Pawanka but also maybe other institutions and other foundations. If you have this, if you would like to support us project, and we like to push forward, continue our activities and our efforts of revitalizing our Aka language and culture. Thank you very much. That is all my presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Wang. Thank you for that very scholarly presentation. We learned a lot in the history of the Aka language until the present, the efforts that they are doing. So I hope our participants took note of all these insights. If they have questions, I'm turning over the floor to Carla for our open forum.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Wang. That was a very extreme timeline about the history and how you have gone through that process of the language in your country. Thank you so very much about that. That was very helpful. And now, as my colleague Luchi said, the floor is yours. Dear participants, please let me know what questions you have, what comments, observation. Don't be shy, please. I'm more than happy to host you right now and channel your questions to either one of the 5 speakers here that we had today. So please feel free to share at this moment. We should close this because we don't want to overwhelm you. This is just one of many of these sharing moments that we could have. If you would like to have another one of this, because we feel like, you know, we have much more to have, we can have smaller groups, we can have follow-ups with your program officer, we can share your contacts if that's helpful. We can do any different small groups, anything that you think fit your needs. But for now, please let us know if you have any question, comments, observations. We're more than happy to help you. The floor is yours.
I'm reading comments in the chat.
Go ahead, Bitsy.
Yeah, this one, this is a reflection, no, from me, Nitaya of Impact. I think this was a reaction to Ruka's welcome remarks. She said, my community, the Hmong, deeply value our clan system, which is central to our identity and traditions. However, we are being pressured to change our names and surnames to Thai. As a result, many in the younger generation are beginning to lose touch with their clans and cultural heritage. In Hmong tradition, it is strictly forbidden for people from the same clan to marry. But because of these forced name changes, some couples, unaware that they belong to the same clan, only later to discover the truth. Tragically, some have taken their own lives. Oh, this is tragic. It is deeply painful that we're not even allowed to use our real names, the ones that carry our history and connection to our roots. Oh, this is a moving reflection, no?
Absolutely. Very touching.
Yeah. This policy has been in place for over 50 years, so it is not easy to change to a tribal name. And now the clan networks are trying to come together to compile information and communicate with the new generation. However, the name we use for rituals is still our tribal name, which is really inspiring, no? The assertion to use it's claiming, it's asserting the identity by using the indigenous name. Okay, do we have other questions or comments? Carla, do you have for our panelists?
Yes, we have some questions we can generate. Maybe we can ask Doctor, what strategy did you use to carry that beautiful timeline that you manage over the years? You know, what methodology did you implement it?
This is a question for me, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yes, why I decided to do this historical line of the Hani Aka language, development of the Hani Aka scripts, because particularly in China, the indigenous people's issue are very complicated, and actually the Hani minority nationality covers several or many different subgroups, which the different so-called different dialects actually is not mutually legible to each other. So even the government support to develop like Hani script, and yet and many other subgroups, including Aka, are underrepresented. So this is why our network, Mekong Aka network, try to also develop or promote these Aka scripts because the like Hani scripts supported by the Chinese government is not legible to the Aka people in this region. It's why we need to do this work for the Aka people. This is also why we also apply the support from Pawanka and other organizations, and in order to how to say it, in the future, I think we need to without this writing scripts for the indigenous people, our oral traditions, our oral language is hard to survive in this very competitive world, particularly under a lot of the national building project by the respective states, and also by the globalization trend of this capitalist market economy, or etc. So it's why we decided to also develop our own common. Since Aka people live in different countries, we need to, and different countries developed its own different scripts, which is not good for our people to communicate. So it's why we decided to unite all these the writing systems, and in order for the outsider to understand our situation, I think it's very useful to make this historical line, and so you will understand a little bit about our situations, very complicated situations. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Highlighting
I also
we
have
have,
one
sorry.
question.
Go
Can
ahead.
I ask one question? My
Yes.
question is for the Mathura Bikashi Tripura from Bangladesh. You also mentioned that there are about 50 indigenous peoples in Bangladesh, and you are also trying to develop this scripts for different languages. And so my question is, how the Bangladesh central government, how do they support of this, and what is the national policy about the indigenous people language and their scripts, national policies, and yeah.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Actually, in Bangladesh, there is no specific policy on language. Now we are trying to, we are actually working on the language policy of Bangladesh. We are trying to propose the government to develop that, and we'll do sort of demi policy for the government. So that is one thing. And another issue is the work we are doing is actually very much private. That means we are working with the linguistic groups, the writers and researchers of the linguistic groups. But we also engage the government departments in our process. And that's why actually we started our works in 2006. And in 2017, the government has taken over the introducing 5 languages in the schools. So at that through that way, actually, government is also now trying to work on that. And in the National Curriculum and Textbook Board, they have established some writers panels with taking the indigenous writers and researchers. So that is one progress, I think. But still, if we have a specific language policy, then it will be useful. Yeah, that's the point. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much. Thanks a lot. I have 2 hands up. That's Kankai and
Yeah, that's Kale from the
Yes.
Milwaukee. Yeah.
Right. So we go with
We call, yeah.
That's right. And then we'll go with Prasert. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Good morning, Lucy
Good
and
morning.
everyone. I
Hello,
would like
Kale.
to share.
Yeah.
Yes, hello, ได้ยินไหมคะ Are you here?
Yeah, we can.
ค่ะ I would like to share my opinion in Thai, but I would kindly request someone to assist with my the translation. So มีเนาะค่ะ ก็อยากจะแชร์ประสบการณ์นิดหนึ่งในเรื่องของประเด็นเกี่ยวกับการรักษาภาษาและวัฒนธรรม ซึ่งเห็นว่ามันเป็นความจำเป็น กับทั่วโลกเนาะที่ภาษาแม่ของเราก็เริ่มที่จะสูญหายไปเรื่อยๆในทุกๆวันเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยวันนี้ก็เป็นวันที่ดีที่เห็นว่ามันเป็นการเริ่มต้นในการที่จะร่วมมือกันเป็นภาคีเครือข่ายแล้วเราจะร่วมมือโดยเฉพาะอย่างยิ่งเราจะมีจุดประสานงานกลางหรือว่าเราจะทำเป็นภาคีเครือข่ายร่วมกันระหว่างประเทศ เพื่อให้เห็นกิจกรรมแล้วก็เพื่อให้เกิดการเปลี่ยนแปลงในเรื่องของการยอมรับภาษาแล้วก็วัฒนธรรม อย่างเช่นสู่ระบบโรงเรียนก็ตาม หรือแม้แต่ในส่วนของประเด็นเชิงโครงสร้างนโยบายที่บางประเทศอย่างเช่นในส่วนของประเทศไทยเอง การยอมรับในเรื่องของการใช้ภาษาแม่ในระดับสถานศึกษาก็ยังไม่มีมากนัก เพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยเราจะร่วมมือกันยังไงเพื่อให้เป็นแรงขับเคลื่อนในการที่จะผลักดันประเด็นภาษาวัฒนธรรมให้ควบคู่กับภาษาชาติของแต่ละประเทศด้วยค่ะนี้ช่วยแปลด้วยค่ะ
Okay. So actually, she said that today the section of today is very good and very useful for us who are working on the revitalization of indigenous language, which is many are already lost. And today would be the good day for us who are working on this issue to come together to share. But it is possible that in the future we can have a platform or a network to exchange, to strengthen, and also to help each other for the country level to recognize and accept our indigenous language equal as the national language also. So she she would like to help us how the how the collaboration of our people here that how for the future it is possible to have a future collaboration and also the platform or even the network in regional level. Thank you.
It's an
Thank you.
interesting, very interesting challenge, no, Carla, for Pawanka also to create platforms
Yeah.
to assist on the country level, how to put them together, the organizations that are into these initiatives. And then like what we're doing now, this is already a very specific platform to learn from each other. And I think we can do this regularly. And one specific and concrete suggestion and recommendation now is if the ones who participated here can avail of all the presentations of the panelists. We can do that, right? With the FPIC, with the FPIC of the panelists, we are going to send to the participants all the PowerPoint presentations. And I think that would be a starting point, no? So we learn from the other countries, other partners. Is that okay, Kel?
Thank you ค่ะ
Okay. สวัสดีค่ะ ขอบคุณค่ะ Carla, I think we saw Dr. Prasert, no? Raising his hand earlier.
Yes, and there is also that's Prasert, and then there is one more for Gangaral. So go ahead, Prasert, and then we have Gangaray.
Thank you very much.
You're more than welcome.
I learned a lot today, and I think that our presentation gave very useful information about the language. So that I not have a question, but just general observation. We agree that language is our main identity. That's very important. So for me, I just like to raise some of language here. They also have different levels. That means that the language that the young people know now is just language for speaking or communication, but cannot access the knowledge. Many knowledge inside the language is deeper and there are higher language in that process. For example, like the current people, we have Pa. Pa is a poem or consider song. You can chat it, you can speak it, you can sing it. All knowledge included in the Tha. So the beautiful words, beautiful meaningful is there. But now our young people can speak current, but they cannot access the Tha, even chat or even talk. Especially for singing, it's difficult for them. This is something of the time of changing after the education system or education institution come to communities. This kind of thing that young people cannot do it. Even the parents, elders still continue the process. I worry a little bit that if we cannot revive our language into the deeper meaning or the different levels, we will lose knowledge. We still keep knowledge from community, but for the knowledge of value, knowledge, deeper knowledge for link to environment, link to the management of the good relations, also we be gone. So this I did one other observation. Another observation, it is about the oral tradition and the written record is sometimes contrast, because by traditional way, our elders always learn through oral tradition. They are very keen, very good. You remember that their brain, that all kinds of knowledge in their brain or in their memory. But now our young people just do the written, record through the read or something that we not much remember or memory this kind of knowledge, especially the language, deeper language is so good to that process. But however, for me, I found that the learning process, we start with the young people, especially earlier language, need to learn from our mother tongue language. Is the base. It's go very what we call very fast. You can go to other language later. This is very important, but mostly our in Thai school, we forced to study Thai first, then our own language that block the what we call the study or the speed of the study for the young people. So this something. Another thing linked to the documentation, language, many words we cannot pronounce in other language. And even the meaning also we cannot express to others. This is very deep, and to document in our own language. So these are the most important. So our young people know Thai, like Italian Thai, but they cannot read in the current script. So many knowledge or many words, they disappear, so cannot use in that process. Lastly, I did that to revive our language, we need to use in our daily life, in the practice, in the everyday life. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that reflection, and completely agree. I would like to now pass the word to Gangarai. Are you still there?
Yes. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm Gangarai from National Indigenous Disabled Women Association, Nepal. Thank you for creating this beautiful moment, even in a Zoom. And being from a young generation, almost we have in Nepal, our national language as a country has given the Nepali language, and most of the curriculum is in Nepali language or in English language. So after all this presentation, what I feel that really we need to preserve our mother language, mother tongue, and all the grandmother tongue that our previous presenter used. Like, it's very inspiring. And in Nepal also we have many challenges in case of the preserving our mother tongue language, because we are forced to study in Nepali and English language, and mostly in the Himalayan region or the hilly region, where there is there recently there are also mixed community. So I was just wondering how could we focus, or how can we introduce or bring in mainstream to our mother tongue, because we have different national policies and everything. Beside that, we need to preserve our mother language also. So I was just wondering, the previous presenter Mulu, he just presented that two scripted was introduced below the grade 3. So it's just my queries. I just wanted to know how all the steps or the strategies or the processes he used, so that we could also get some knowledge, so we can also work collaboratively in the same way that in here also we can like promote those things. And I just wanted to know that he just so different classes is the mother tongue language classes were given to the different small children. So either those classes were merged in school curriculum activities, or just those were the projects which run separately. Just wanted to know that. Thank you.
Thank you, Gangarai. Does any one of our speakers would like to respond to Gangarai on that?
I think he mentioned Mulu.
Okay,
Yeah,
Malu?
yes, yeah, I can respond to. Thank you for mention about this. So I think we have developed a textbook from different levels. So we use the textbook. So we classify the age of the student. So at the beginning of the script, so we provide for the kindergarten level until grade 2 as primary 2, sorry. And then we have the second volume for the primary 3 until primary 6. And then we have a secondary levels. So it's a different word. For the secondary one, they have to fluent reading, writing, plus with the word, no? The word that they want to write down. So yes, we can work together. We can develop the network of this. So we are here. It's still a bit lucky that we have our mother tongue transmission network at here. So in Thailand, in northern Thailand, we have IMPEC. IMPEC is the main source for traditional language transmission, because they have a long experience on this, longer than 33 years until now. So we use the model of Mawaki. Our other community when they want to work on the language transmission, we also use the experience we learn from Mawaki textbook. And then now we're still developing our textbook together, because the school now, they really need of these, both the community learning center is run by the community member. Another one, the school like a government school, they also need this for their mother tongue and transmission. Yeah, I think we can work together on this if we can share. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mulu. Yeah, I was witness to a very interesting interaction between a knowledge holder and elder. He was side by side teaching with a teacher, no, in the classroom, in the Mowaki Learning Center. It was a vivid picture of how intergenerational teaching and learning is happening, and the role of the teacher in also training from the training that she gets from the knowledge holder on how to transmit this also. Truly interesting experience with the Mowaki. Carla, please allow me to just read this comment from Soe. Soe Kuda from Point, Myanmar, no? He's our partner in Myanmar. He said, how shall we overcome and counteract the trending language invasion to indigenous communities, as it is one of the big issues, especially for children and the youth? As our issues and problems are common, hope our regional effort to promote and revitalize indigenous language lead back to indigenous linguistic prosperity again. From my perspective, it will be indirectly promoting and revitalizing the language through giving awareness and insights about the fundamental roles in climate change adaptation and environmental stewardship, which is contributing positively to all aspects of climate and environmental issues. It's a very holistic perspective, no? How language and our material condition will really propel us to work seriously on the revitalization of our mother tongue. The insights that were shared today, the experiences, the challenges, I think it really pronounces the interrelationship of language with our basic survival of indigenous people and the communities. It's also awareness of your surroundings, because how will the indigenous people thrive if they are losing connection with their identity through the use of their mother tongue? I think that's a gem for our thoughts, the one that Saw shared with us. And yeah, Carla, would you like to add something to that?
Well, you said it was very powerful. The only thing I would add towards that is all of that is linked towards one thing and one thing only, which is the identity. We cannot do that without our culture, which is part of who we are, linked directly to our identity, as how Ruka said it. And all our partners from the beginning, they said it clearly. Our culture is ingrained, our language is ingrained in our culture. We are who we are. We can't do without this. It's all within us. And I think we need to clearly continue doing what we're doing and continue to pass this on from our grandmother, as Luchi said clearly. This is not our mother tongue, it's our grandmother tongue. It's our mother tongue. It's who we are, and we want to preserve this. We want to pass it to the next generation. Our partners has completely set this stage of what our work has been around this. You have showered us clearly with all the promotion, advocacy, the revitalization, the strategy, the challenges of around language revitalization. We have been enriching with all the work that you've been doing. And if there is no more questions around this, I just pass this over back to my colleague, Luchi, to close this. This is her region. Thank you so much, Luchi, for having me here.
Thank you, Carla. Thank you. You know, I really appreciate that. I was looking at all the organizations present, and I counted 35 organizations and all the 45, I think, participants. I know, I mean, even if I don't see your faces, I know you were really deeply engaged, listening and, you know, digesting everything, trying to familiarize yourselves or identifying with experiences that our wonderful panelists, you know, shared with us, the knowledge, the expertise, the hard work that went into their preparation to share with us, no, the experiences of their respective organizations. I think we will carry them and we will be challenged to look for more platforms because I know so many of us still want to share our own experiences. And then maybe you can also share in future platforms the plans that you want to implement also with the support of Pawanka, because one of the strongest themes that Pawanka is really pushing is on language revitalization. All our guiding committee members are very enthusiastic about this project. We heard it from our guiding committee this morning. I would like to thank our program director, Carla Bush, my co-program officers who are here, Edna, and our communication officers, of course, Juan David. Thank you. You know, Juan David is our youngest member. That's why he's such a techie, you know. Without him, oh, Juan David, how do we do this in the technical preparation? Thank you, Juan David.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Maria Jose, for data gathering and all. Thank you. Thank you. I cannot mention you individually, but your presence was really very important, very precious as we enrich our language initiatives, our future plans. Thank you so much. May we have a wonderful day. Thank you, Deb. I was supposed to ask you a question, but never mind. I think it was already answered.
All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
See you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thanks
you so
very
much.
much.
We will
Everyone.
share, we will share the PowerPoint presentations of all our panelists.
Yes.
Mulu, Matura, Dr. Wang, and of course, Deb, our first speaker, and of course, Sister Thea, who was represented by Lori. But I think Lori, the people were really, you know, they also absorbed what Sister Thea had to present through her video presentation. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy. Thank you,
Bye.
Maraming
everyone.
salamat.
Salamat.
Bye.
Maraming
Lucy.
salamat. Bye-bye.